Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle JCRB Krause.
Remember, the 6th of December. Or not. It's
Christmas time treason and plot?
Sure, we'll go with that, yes. It's supposed to be the 5th of November, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
When merry old Kringle set out to mingle and murder and kidnap and rot. I don't know. You started this.
My thought process ended at that joke. Ended at that one phrase.
Well, I have
You
to
kept
take
it going. You kept it going. I mean, I just was like, I don't know. Yes, it's D for December. Anyway, what's up, Ian?
We were looking at the schedule for the month because we're trying to do our live shows at the last Saturday of every month.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, that either puts it dead center on Christmas, which no,
Christmas Day, no. Sorry, guys.
or
we get
like
January
1st, which is technically into the new year. But January is a long month. I know it's the same as everything else, but the way it falls out, what we're going to end up doing is 2 live sessions in January. One on the 1st, that's kind of like the pseudo end of December, Happy New Year. Let's just get it all started there. And then we'll do our regularly scheduled one at the end of January. So no live stream in December, technically by like 24 hours, but 2 in January. And I think folks will like that just fine.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem at all. I mean, sometimes I do my own monthly event on with my other show, Nitro Game Injection, and sometimes it's the first week of the next month before I'm finally able to get to it. So It happens. Timing is weird. So,
and frankly,
it all works out.
The way the past 2 years have gone, if something actually comes out, I'm happy.
True. Time is an amorphous blob or a flat circle, whichever you want it to be.
It is a terrifying beast that does show no mercy to anyone. And on that happy note, let's get to our priority Q&A.
Indeed. We are just about ready to get started on that one, courtesy of Scurvy Pirate Hog. So, since I asked you about Rouge and Knuckles facing off against Scrooge, I have another similar question. Now, since both characters wear blue clothes, wield swords, and have funny accents, who would win in a battle between Antoine and Don Carnage?
I would pay money to see that. Ultimately, Antoine would win because good triumphs over evil. And because Antoine has that kind of idiot aura that protects him. So he would be running from strafing gunfire. He would be on the losing end of most sword battles. They would, devolve into unintelligible gibberish as they try to correct each other's grammar.
I was just going to say their wittiness would slowly devolve.
But, something would happen where Don Carnage is laughing so hard at Antoine falling over while running from the plane, he crashes into a tree. He would swashbuckle a little too dashingly to show off and lose his sword. He would be so confounded on whether Antoine was trying to say fool or fuel that he would be distracted long enough for Antoine to win the day. But Antoine would win, but it's almost by default.
Yes. The battle of the bombastic blowhards.
And then Tails is extremely confused why Antoine wants to ride on the wings of the tornado all of a sudden.
Yes, of course. Man, that would be great. I could very, very easily visualize this battle. Being asked which Don Carnage. I mean, it would probably have to be the one from the new DuckTales, right?
That's what I'm envisioning, because I feel like he was a little more fun of the two, but I could see it working for both.
Yeah, I mean, either way. I don't see why not, but yeah, either way. I'm into it. I want to see it. Disney, time for a crossover.
It is, how you say, time for another tailing spin? Spinning tails? I believe his name is Miles, but we will just be running with it.
Indeed.
Also, running is more of the Sonic thing, but who am I to judge? I am not the judge, I am the soldier, the dashing soldier. The one who defeated Donny Carnage. Danny Kinage? What was that man's name? I do not remember.
That's it, Don Carnage.
Oui, that is what I am saying.
Oh, okay.
Dan Corsage.
Dan Corsage. Got it. Perfect. Dan Carnegie. Yes, it's him. It's him. All right, here's this one from Ava Arctic. So since the Sonic the Fighters got a comic adaptation, but why didn't Sonic R? Even in the old era that was similar to the wacky Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog show, it could have easily had some wacky racist style of story. Was it just too weird to have a story with Sonic slow again? Can you feel the sunshine? Does it brighten up your day?
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. Especially living in the city.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You know, you got to survive. You got to keep the dream alive.
Yes.
I don't think we ever thought about Sonic R because, I mean, you could potentially get the same story beats. Breezy could be sponsoring a race. You know, it is a competition of sorts, but I feel like the fighting game tournament arc gives you more room for character interaction. And we were purposefully bringing Honey into the mix, whereas Sonic R doesn't really bring anything to the table. We've already seen Metal Knuckles, we've already seen Tails Doll. There wasn't really a lot of new stuff in Sonic R to mine, whereas Sonic the Fighters, again, you have a little more interpersonal play with the tournament arc style story, and we get Honey as well.
Oh yeah, gotta have Honey. But also, I mean, Sonic R, you didn't even realize Sonic R was still actually canon until...
I don't know if that was established at that point. Like, nothing against Sonic R. I freaking love it and would not be opposed to, you know, doing a story in Sonic R. It's just where we were in the book at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sonic the Fighters was more of a inspirational basis than anything else. It wasn't really like a Sonic the Fighters arc so much as Easter egg elements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we got a question here from Many Hats. Since it seems that one world has returned to its rightful place in canon, what was going on with the humans during Eggman's takeover in Forces and the Zombat arc? Do the human and Sonic's Frenzian societies have an agreement to not interfere with each other?
Now, there's a lot of real world reasons that I can't get into, but within the realms of narrative construction, you can't show everything every single time. Like in Sonic Forces, we only saw, 5 locations, really, when you get down to it, and we know the world is much bigger than that. Even if you want to go by the 2-world standard, there's so many places in Sonic's world that we could have visited in Forces, and we didn't. So it's just a matter of, you know, you can't hit every single location and character with every single story, even the big planetary scale ones.
Mm-hmm.
As for how Sega wants to handle humans and their interactions with Mobians, I don't care. I'm calling them Mobians. That's up to them. And I'm kind of waiting to follow their lead on that one, since this book is much closer tied to the source material than Archie was.
All right, next question is from Alphamon Oryukin. How would Starline interact with Dr. Eggman's quote-unquote family? And I'm not just talking about Eggman Nega. For the sake of amusing alternate realities shenanigans, let's add in Mama Robotnik, Robotnik Jr., Dr. Warpnik, Hope, Colin, Snively, Mecha M. Robotnik, Adam, Mombot, and Morpho, aka Steve Eggman.
Okay, so Mombot and Morpho, he would be very impatient with. He'd be very impatient with Boom Eggman in general. Just, these are the wrong type of Eggmen. Like, maybe Mombot would be at least somewhat authoritative, but he just would not like that dimension at all. Snively, kind of depends on which incarnation of Snively and where he is in the grand scheme of things. But if we're going like classic Starscream styled Snively working with Eggman, but they know full well that he's just waiting for the proper moment to backstab him, we'd have this almost like Black Spy versus White Spy scenario where Starline hates him for even thinking about betraying him. So he's just always looking for that right moment to make an accident happen. And, oh no, Snively's face got ripped off from the gear. How tragic. Anyway, Doctor, what do you want for lunch? And Snively is always looking for the opportunity to backstab Eggman, but he knows he has to do it super carefully because Starline will rat him out in a heartbeat. So that would be a fun dynamic. A pity we don't have that one. M was a loyal killbot. He'd be fine with that. Adam was a system admin when you get down to it, and he'd be fine with that until Adam went rogue, and then he would have been all on board finding a way to delete him. If he was there for that Supersonic versus Super Tommy story. So if Starline was in the story with, Super Tommy, Super Sonic, he would have actively tried to help Sonic at that point. You must destroy Adam, you must help Eggman, sort of thing. Hope, she's a lost cause. She could be so great, but she wrote off Eggman, so nope. She can fall like all the others. Colin, nobody cares about Colin. Warpnik, was he a Robotnik? Was he related?
I have no idea.
I vaguely remember him, but I don't know if he was an actual Robotnik or if he was just kind of styled after him in a weird way. Robotnik Jr., kind of the same thing. You are literally the scrapings off of Eggman made whole. Why are you not loyal to him? Why are you not carrying on his legacy? Pah, I am a better son than you are. Mama Robotnik.
Warpnik is Robotnik's cousin from Adventures of. So there we go.
I seem to remember him being kind of random crazy, which might not sit well with Starline. And Mama Robotnik is, frankly, the vicious, tyrannical monster that he could follow. He would be terrified of her, but he might actually follow her instead of Eggman at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's kind of into that.
I hate myself for saying that.
Oh, boy. If John's listening, he knows what to do now.
No. Do not point this out to John. Do not inspire his brand of evil. Let's just keep that between us, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work. This next question is actually an interesting one in terms of how it comes to us. Off sponsored another question to bring it to the head of the line. So this one is from Ozzy AM Draws, thanks to Off. I was curious if we were going to see any human settlements in the IDW Sonic comic at all. I know there are mandates, but without them, there are some story holes regarding Shadow and Eggman's history.
Mm-hmm. For the immediate future, I don't think so, but I'm not going to say no, never. I do want it addressed at some point myself personally, but I don't know when that's going to come about. If we're going to do it, I want there to be a reason other than here are the humans. There needs to be a story beat. There needs to be character. There needs to establish something. But again, I think I'm going to wait on Sega to kind of establish where we're going with that.
Next question is from Wolfsbane. All right, you've mentioned that the encyclopedia was not a lore book several times, despite the listing making it sound as such. A lot of people seem to be finding out just now, as some early copies have trickled out. I know some are going to come at you for a myriad of reasons, so how did you feel writing this? Was it a good step toward your goal of writing a game or wanting more? Did you want to take a deep dive into the lore, but Sega said no? Did you want to include the movie, TV shows, comics, etc.? Was there major differences between you and Sega? Was there something you wanted and pushed hard for but got denied?
So the whole project was a Dark Horse project. Let's establish that right there. This is a Dark Horse book.
Yes.
Put out by Dark Horse and whatnot.
And that blurb that people are so mad about, by the way, is also Dark Horse is doing. It's not Amazon or anybody else.
Mike Cisneros, the head of licensing over at Sega of America, he summed it up very nicely. So look up his Twitter. He explains the thinking behind it. And that the book covers, what the in-game lore is.
Right.
And that, in Sonic Adventure, there's Chaos and Tikal and their story. That's the lore of that game. It's not a comprehensive timeline, or it's not the Hyrule Historia of Sonic. I would love to see such a book, But that was never the project. That is not what Dark Horse pitched to me. Dark Horse said, we know of you. We've worked with you in the past. We know you know Sonic. We're putting together this encyclopedia of Sonic's game history. Would you like to do? And I said, yes, please. And that was always the foundation. There was no confusion over what we could include or not. I tried to give little nods to the multimedia universe here and there, but this is a history of Sonic in his most base form, which is the games. With Sega, I did look for guidance on some things. There are updated names for a few things, clarification on some Badnik stuff, some character names that were kind of fringe localized and not like official got a new, clean, updated pass. And so there was a little bit of back and forth there, but mostly it's me doing my research and then going with Sega and seeing how they wanted that presented and what needed to be updated and what was good as it was. So not a ton of back and forth, I guess, when you get down to it. Me submitting it and them saying, no, that's wrong, fix it. It's like, oh, oops, read that wrong. There was another point I was going to make. Oh, and I understand where a lot of the hardcore fans are going, well, if it's about the games, we already know all this information. So what? And it's like, well, yeah, but you aren't the only people reading this book. It's going to be the people who know Sonic from the Genesis days and nothing else. It's going to be the people who don't know Sonic at all. Everyone is going to be able to read this book and get a little something from it. The hardcore fans who know Sonic inside and outside, back and forth in whatever, you might find a few neat trivia bits in there, but yeah, you know this stuff. That's fine. You get a very pretty book with a lot of information on hand. And for the rest of the world, the larger group, they get new information and new insight and updated stuff. So it really is a book for everyone. Now, can we ever do a lore-focused book? I don't know. If this one does well, that might prompt it. I would love to sink my claws into that myself, but that would take a lot more coordination with Sega, so I can't even begin to speculate if it's possible. But if you want to see a potential lore book, support this one. Show that there's demand, show that there's interest.
Yes. Do that. I do have a couple questions for you, Ian.
Yeah.
So Sega did read and approve everything that is in that book, right?
Well, obviously.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. And also, did you put in the little nugget of trivia that Sonic's first video game appearance was not actually in Sonic 1?
No.
Oh.
That one I think might have slipped through the cracks.
Oh man. I was hoping you got that one. I think it was Radmobile was the very first video game appearance of Sonic. But it's a tiny little cameo, and it was developed at about the same time. And
yeah. There's also one game. I'm gonna wait and see if folks pick it out because it's not in the book at all. It's like not referenced at all because of some bizarre legal thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like any of the major ones, but it is a notable enough one. I was like, huh, really? We can't touch it at all? All right. Mm-hmm. And even still, the book is like packed to the brim with stuff. So
yes, it is.
I don't know. It's packed. I think most folks will enjoy it.
Indeed. Go check it out. All right, here's one from Saturn Flicky. Blaze's Sonic Channel profile says the Soul Emeralds allow her to travel between her world and Sonic's, but she sometimes travels through space-time when doing so. The profile has been up since November 2006, so seems intended to reconcile Rush and Sonic 06. Thoughts on this?
It might be a nice way to fudge a few things because the terminology that Saturn Flecky is referencing specifically is the Japanese jiku'u. So it could be that's the explanation that she used the time stones, soul emeralds, to transport dimensions and time to Silver's time, in which case it could happen somewhere in the Sonic timeline. That might be the easiest, the path of least resistance trying to reconcile all this. The only reason I'm not fond of that is that it makes the Soul Emeralds ludicrously powerful because they basically double as the Chaos Emeralds and the Time Stones.
Hmm.
And the Time Stones are already a big problem because they have seemingly unlimited time travel ability, but at least they're hidden on Little Planet, so their accessibility is much lower. But she's got these things the whole time. So what is stopping her from just going around willy-nilly? I mean, if it's kind of bent on the Emerald's will, well, what is that? Why are they conscious? Do they decide what happens and what is worthy of protection? Why did they send her to Silver's future? I don't know, man. It's a mess one way or the other. But if we went that route, excuse me, like I have control over this. If Sega went that route, and that is their intention, that the Soul Emeralds just beamed her across time and space to spit her out in Silver's time, and then she just yeeted back home without the emeralds. Like, that's the thing. Is at the end of 06, she absorbs Iblis via the Chaos Emeralds, turns into Burning Blaze, and vanishes. So is that the emeralds coming in to whisk her home? She doesn't transform, and in the other, God,
I like that.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
I like that little Freudian slip you had in there of your true power over the Sonic franchise.
I have to be so careful with my wording since some people will.
I know.
You give them an inch and they take a mile.
A mile? Boy, that's being modest. They take a lot more than that usually.
Well, nope, don't do that.
Nope.
I almost said something more appropriate for BumbleKast After Dark.
When are we going to do that? Are we ever going to do that?
No, absolutely not. We get enough trouble with this show. We keep it, winter fresh, clean.
Oh, we don't get enough trouble, nearly enough trouble with this show. Honestly, I mean, I don't.
I like it just fine that way. Thank you.
Here's a question from Pen Dulce. In Imposter Syndrome number 1, there's a panel in which Starline looks like if he was wearing a vest. But it's been mentioned in the past that his attire is a satin shirt based on those that Mike Pollock wears at conventions. So that brings me to ask, is Starline's attire just a shirt, or is it a shirt with a vest?
It's a shirt with a vest. He's got the vest over the shiny Pollock shirt.
The vest is the best. Here's one from Noni. On a scale between things going poorly and things going horrifically badly, what would happen if Eggman used Metal Sonic's CPU as the hub for an Alexa/Amazon Prime type service?
He'd get Metal Sonic with Alexa's voice.
We're all gonna die.
There can only be one Sonic.
Yes.
Sonic, my loathsome copy. Your deliveries would all be like within the hour at the very least.
Yeah, super fast. Super fast.
It's already kind of a system where people are enslaved and robots do most of the work, so the integration might be pretty quick.
Yes. Metal Sonic.
Wait a minute, have we ever seen Bezos with a mustache?
No, I don't think so. Might explain a few things. He looks more like Lex Luthor than Dr. Eggman, though. And he's got the personality of a flat, wet piece of cardboard from Amazon Prime specifically.
He can't be Eggman.
Yeah,
Eggman
no, he's very boring. That's kind of he's very understated and kind of lame, but that doesn't stop him from being evil, mind you. He definitely looks like the kind of guy who would steal 40 cakes. And that's terrible. Here's a question from Andrew D to round us out before we take a quick break. Have you ever found out why there are 2 broken down Metal Sonics in the boss fight with Metal Sonic in Sonic Mania? If not, what's your headcanon?
I don't know of any in-universe reason. I'm pretty sure it was one big visual love letter to Sonic the Comic and the Brotherhood of Metallics, and I freaking love it. In canon, I don't know. The idea of there being multiple Metal Sonics is nettlesome within the game canon. I know we had like, what, 6 of them pre-reboot, but that was different. I don't know, maybe he was attempting to make copies and it didn't quite work. Maybe it's time to stone shenanigans. I don't know. But it
Yeah.
was a cool visual at the least.
Very, very much so. Speaking of cool visuals, enjoy this white screen while we take a quick break on the BumbleKast. We are back with more of your beautiful, amazing questions and more of our mediocre answers. Just kidding. Your answers are great, and mine are not so great.
I don't know. I try.
Either way, we got this question here from Just a Mountain Soul, aka Jams, which is a great name. If you were to make a new Sonic Shuffle, how would you go about it? I love how Mario Party works, but I will always prefer the Sonic Casting world. What would you choose for the boards, roster, and items? Go nuts.
Yeah, I never actually did play Sonic Shuffle.
Really?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I've heard it's okay. It's just the AI cheats super hard.
Oh, of course. Yes, absolutely. And if you do not realize, if you have one VMU plugged into any of the controllers, it hides all of the players' cards on screen. So you cannot see your own cards if only one controller has a VMU in it. So you have to take your VMU out in order to play it. Otherwise, you just end up guessing at what cards you have.
Yeah, so I guess step 1 is just to refine the gameplay a little bit.
Yes, very much so.
But I don't know. I kind of like the idea of using the cards instead of dice. The general move around the board and different elements cause different shenanigans, prompting minigames. I mean, it's Mario Party when you get down to it, just with a different coat of paint.
I think they really should steal more of the mechanics from Mario Party, like they did for Mario Kart in making the Sonic and All-Stars Racing games.
Yeah, I mean,
just whatever. Just ape the whole thing. Big deal.
But I guess I'd like to see boards kind of themed around major game moments, like maybe a game board where a third of it is Station Square, and then a third of it is Mystic Ruin, and then a third of it is Crashed Egg Carrier. And like maybe one tile you get on the train in Station Square and it whisks you ahead into the Mystic Ruin part of the board, getting you ahead of everybody else. Or a SA2 themed board where you've got like a city section and a desert section and an arc section maybe, and you can trigger a trap where the truck comes out of nowhere and hits whoever's on that part of the board,
Yeah.
I don't know. Have fun with the franchise. Don't be nailed down too hard with continuity or anything, because it's a freaking party game. And I think the imaginary world Dreamscape is a great opportunity to do that, because you can just say, oh, I remember these elements and it's in a dream. There you go.
Right. And also prime opportunity for a little bit of knights to show up in there. You know? Let's do it.
But I mean, of all things, lean heavy into the nostalgia bait for that one.
Absolutely.
That's where it is. You're not concentrated on the story or the setting or advancing anything. It's a party game. This is the perfect opportunity to say, hey, I remember that thing. So, have little badnik hazards on the side, or, have an eagle swoop in to move you spaces or something like that. Do have some fun with it. Shoot, even if you do like a Sonic 06 style board, maybe there's a gimmick on the stage where if you hit an eagle statue or an Iblis eyeball, it flips the palette of the stage to the dark Bernie future version. And then you can hit it back, and there's different hazards on each side. Just go nuts with it, but generic beach, or here's a flying eagle ship or whatever.
A Sonic CD board where time travel is an integral part of it, so you go between the 3 different time periods.
Yeah!
That would be fun.
Screw somebody over with a past sign and they lose all the rings and gems that they acquired 3 turns ago.
Something like that, yeah.
You can have all sorts of trollish fun there.
Absolutely.
And character-wise, throw everybody in there, man. Get all the toys.
Yep, classic and modern. Who cares? Put them all in the same game. What's
Yeah.
what's the big deal? Mario Party has literally just thrown everything into the same game, and it's fine. Nobody cares.
And like Shuffle had characters with special abilities on certain tiles. So to just make it kind of universal, give everyone like a set thing, a speed type, flying type, power type, and maybe a general whatever fourth type for those who don't perfectly fit the mold. And you have, shortcuts for or boons for each type, but don't get hung up on, who counts as what. Like Knuckles can glide, so is he a power and a flying type? No, he's just power. Well, yeah, he's pretty fast too. No, just keep him powered. Don't overthink the bloody thing. Just have fun with it. Do simple enough stuff that whoever picks a speed type gets, that bonus to a tile. But if they don't care, they're not really hamstrung by it. Like Supersonic got what, 2 turns or something with his special. I don't know. It's in the encyclopedia. Once it's out, I can review it. And why would you pick anyone else at that point? He's kind of broken. So just keep a fairly even playing field, play with all the toys, and go hardcore into the love of the franchise. And keep the basic mechanics, which are more or less Mario Party anyway.
Absolutely. All right, here's this question from Sonic. Are the unusual formations like rings and checkerboard walls like Green Hill caused by chaos energy? Or are there other things that cause them to get their powers? And if so, what is it?
I think that's just the way the world is.
Yep. Just looks funky. Here's one from Chartographer 217. I'm constantly amazed at Ian's ability to imitate different voices and speech patterns. So I humbly offer these $5 to hear how well he can mimic some lines of the merchant from Resident Evil 4.
Thank you for sponsoring the show. Hopefully these questions have been entertaining. If not, sorry, no refunds. What are you asking? What will I answer? Who knows?
What are you buying? I can't
What
do
are you
it.
buying? What are you selling? I'll buy it for a high price.
I can't do it. I can't do that voice.
I like this request. This is fun. I was actually I pulled up a YouTube video because I'm like, oh god, it's been so long. What did he sound like? Can I do this? And it was like a game rip, so there was all these files of lines that you never actually hear in the game, where he's actually chatting up a storm about bullet penetration. And I think there's a line in there like,
what are you doing, hunting for elephants?
I'm like, where was this? He's not nearly as chatty as the Duke, but still.
Yeah. I still need to actually really play Resident Evil 4. Never have. I'm a weird one, I know. It's a super influential game, so I mean it probably feels kind of archaic now because of just how influential it's been. So everything from it has been used in other games and probably used just as well or better. So, but maybe not.
I don't know. From what I remember and what I've seen, I mean, if you're a Resident Evil purist, it is vastly different than what came before.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. And visually, it still holds up really well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's just a solid damn game. And you know me, I don't like my spooky games.
Well, it's not really a spooky game. It's more of an action.
There's some spooky stuff, Kyle.
Well, yeah, it's a Resident Evil game. It's not like completely, entirely, like not spooky, scary, but it's like more of an action.
The generators section literally gave me nightmares. It's just
it's more of an action game than a horror game. It's not like
more so than the other three. Sure,
it's not like the first three. No, but yeah, I have it in my Steam library, which is way, way, way too big. So maybe eventually, someday, I'll get around to playing it and the rest of the games, Resident Evil games, that are also in my Steam library. But I think, really, I'm just kind of, at this point, kind of paralyzed for choice from my digital game library. So, Yeah, so much for that.
What are you buying? And why aren't you playing?
Yeah, I apparently I like to collect them instead of play them. Stupid me. Here's a question from Joe Star SSB. Final form Iblis versus perfect chaos. Who wins?
Ah, See, my knee-jerk reaction is to say perfect chaos because Silver was able to beat the snot out of Iblis in his final form without any chaos shenanigans. Chaos Emerald shenanigans, I should say, whereas Perfect Chaos required a supersonic confrontation. But Generations does have you beat him up as regular Sonic, so let's just say the entire planet gets one extended steam bath.
Sure, we'll go with that. Either way, whoever wins, the people of Station Square lose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here's one from Wolfie Girly Wolf Girl. I know Rough and Tumble are afraid of curses and mummies, but do they have a huge fear of other paranormal activities like ghosts, monsters, and other strange, inexplicable things?
Of course not. They're manly men. They ain't scared of nothing. They don't fear no ghost or mummy or nonsense. What was that? What was that sound? Why is that door? That door wasn't open before. Oh God, it's a thing. It's a closet. Run, run! Yeah, they are absolutely Scooby Doo and Shaggy levels of jumpy at the paranormal.
Love it.
Now, which one of them says zoinks? I leave up to your imagination.
Why not both? Here's a question from Invade Turbo Tunis. Howdy ho, Bumblerinos! I've always had a fascination for multiverse shenanigans and how it can be interesting to the plot from any form of media. So my question is, Ian, if IDW wanted you to come up with a multiverse saga for Sonic and company to travel to different dimensions, and Sega gave you the miracle go-ahead and go crazy to use any form of Sonic media from Sonic's ever-expanding universe, from any form of the Hedgehog's media, what would you choose? We're dreaming big here.
Road trip through all the cartoon series. Like, go to Adventures of and have some nonsense shenanigans there. Go to Sad AM and wrap up the story. Have the modern cast show up and help out, but it's basically a vehicle just to give you the season 3 treatment. Same thing for Underground. Wrap up that storyline. Sonic X, I don't know, that doesn't need quite as much closure, but you know, maybe there's like a baby Groot styled Cosmo hanging out in Tails' workshop, just so you get that sense of progression. Boom. Have fun with the Boom universe, you know? But basically just one big love letter to where the series has been over the years and do that. We're dreaming big, then, you know, go back to Archie Sonic, go back to Sonic the Comic, dredge up that old French manga.
Dredge up the old Japanese manga.
Yeah. Just saunter off into Korokoro and, you know, have some fun with that. Just let them experience all things Sonic. And then, you know, movie Sonic is kind of a given at this point. But
yeah,
just have the cast journey around all things Sonic. And instead of just like sightsee, do something in each one to some degree or another.
This sounds like a Kingdom Hearts plot but for Sonic instead of random Disney properties.
And these would actually matter, unlike the Disney properties.
Oh, snap. It's true, though. It's true. Here's a question from Speedweed. So given the Team Fortress 2 comic has been left unfinished for nearly a literal decade, how much would you be willing to go up to Valve and be like, hey man, I'd offer to get it done if need be, maybe even hire an artist or two, stuff like that? Because God, I miss that comic so much.
Yeah, you and me both. On the one hand, yeah, I would love to be given that opportunity. Are you kidding me? But on the other hand, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff I've read or watched or, you know, whatever. And I feel like, okay, I can pick up a thread and run with it. I know where I would go with it. The TF2 comic, I have no idea what they are doing with that thing. Or not doing, as the case may be. Like, Every issue was some bizarro twist that I never would have thought of. And it's a brand of humor that I don't know if I can replicate. So as much as I would love to, I don't know if I could do it justice, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if I'm the right guy to finish off the TF2 comic. I would do my damnedest to do it right, sure, but there's probably someone better qualified.
But you're gonna turn down an opportunity to write the heavy? That's a character tailor-made for you, buddy.
It hurts, but like, not to get into too much detail, but there was a publisher who reached out to me saying, hey, we're putting this book together. Are you interested? And I'm like, man, I could really use the money and I could certainly do it. But I know a colleague who is a much better fit for it. So I pinged them and said, hey, buddy, what's your schedule look like? Do you think you'd be able to take this on? They said, yeah. And so I made the introductions and got them the job because I know I could do it, sure, but I know they're going to do a way better job with it. So the TF2 comic, I could do it. I absolutely could and would love to. But I would need a heavy editorial hand, I think. And there's probably somebody better out there who could do it.
Well, maybe someday. All right, here we go. Here's this one from Dove. Do false or synthetic Chaos Emeralds still exist in continuity? Could they make another appearance in the future?
I mean, maybe. I remember when we were doing the Knuckles and Amy story in Sonic Universe, and the whole shtick was they went to the West Side Island Hidden Palace zone to get a fake Master Emerald as a decoy. Sega was like, nah, you can use a plot point, but don't actually show there being a decoy emerald. So we had to kind of dance around that one, where even Knuckles is like, yeah, I ain't going to tell you if this is the real one or not. So I don't know if they would want us having fake Chaos Emeralds. But I mean, it is a game element. It's right there. And if Tails could just kind of make one and be like, here, I just happened to bring it along, guys, it stands to reason he could make another. But then again, what's really the point? Because they don't have the same power as a Chaos Emerald. And that's primarily the draw of the Chaos Emerald, is their unlimited power. A fake one has the same wavelength and properties. You know, you can manage to pull off a Chaos Control with it, but outside of those who can actually do Chaos Control, what's the point? You've got a giant battery that goes dead after an hour, you know? And maybe the cost to produce one doesn't justify mass producing them.
Nope. No cost, Ian. No money.
No cost?
No costs. No money means no cost.
Resource and energy cost, Kyle.
Nope. Doesn't count.
And then wasn't there something with the...
That's part of capitalism.
Yeah,
Can't have any capitalism in Sonic's world.
Wasn't there something in Season 3 of Sonic X where the Metarex were making false emeralds or something?
I don't know. You're barking up the wrong tree at that one. I haven't even watched.
So
I haven't watched very many episodes of Sonic X, but apparently, according to the chat here, you are correct.
Okay, I couldn't quite remember what the deal was with that. Then again, I was also watching like the French dub with Aaliyah kind of translating on the fly, and it's like we're missing something here, I'm sure.
And that was a while ago too.
Yeah.
And we're ready to move into this next question from Scruffy Matt. Hey fellas, are you into the James Bond movies? Have you seen No Time to Die? And if so, what did you think? What are your favorite movies and actors from the series?
I haven't seen No Time to Die yet. I honestly forgot it came out.
Me neither. I have not seen it. And it also kind of slipped my mind.
And the thing is, I like Daniel Craig's Bond.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Casino Royale. I feel like it's one of the best Bond films. And that good nature carried me through all the others, which were kind of not as good.
I think Skyfall was pretty great, but Spectre
it was all right.
Spectre was disappointing, kind of mediocre. And
Skyfall has a couple of moments in there. It's like, oh, come the frig on. But overall, it's all right. The other one's not so good.
Mm-hmm.
So No Time to Die is kind of in that pile of, well, I've seen all the others. I might as well see this one. But it was not something I was going to risk COVID over. So once it comes to like streaming, I might pick it up.
I think it is on streaming now, finally.
Yeah, okay. I'll get around to it.
I like Skyfall a lot. It was Spectre where I was like, okay, it's kind of not great. My personal favorite James Bond is and probably always will be Pierce Brosnan. I mean, he was Bond when I was a kid, so it, you know, I kind of have that nostalgia for him. But I don't know, he works really well in that role. I think it suits him, and GoldenEye is still one of my favorites, and along with Tomorrow Never Dies is like super silly, ridiculous, but it's a James Bond movie. They're all super silly, ridiculous. So why is that any different than usual? But it's kind of funny because Tomorrow Never Dies, the plot is very relevant to modern society. It's like the head of a media empire trying to take over the world. And well, that's kind of relevant to today.
Yeah.
So it works. It works. There's some good action in it too, you know. It's not quite as off the rails as like oh geez, what's Sean Connery's last movie? Was it Die Another Day? Whichever one has the Aston Martin on ice. I'm totally forgetting now. But yeah. What about you, Ian?
I don't know. For me, Connery had the most charm out of any of them. Like, for me, he's the one I think of as Bond because that was the one I saw the most on the TV.
Yeah, for some reason, Connery's Bond doesn't speak to me quite as much. I don't know why. Also,
well, probably because you can't understand what he's saying to you.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of prefer Timothy Dalton's run was actually pretty good. It's only 2 movies, but he's kind of like the proto Daniel Craig in a way. So those movies were pretty cool, but a little bit darker and more, you know, more actiony.
For me, Pierce Brosnan's kind of boring. Like, I kind of forget that he was Bond. It's like, oh yeah, he was in the movie.
Yeah,
he was the main character. But you know, Sean Bean as 006 in GoldenEye. Holy crap, dude. He like steals every second that he's on the screen because he's Sean freaking Bean.
He truly is one of the best parts of that movie. Yes. Absolutely.
It was funny too, it was on the other, I was going to say the other day, but it's probably been years now. But, you know, it was on, and it's like, wow, this is campier than I remember.
Oh, yeah.
And they get to the big final fight in the satellite dish. And on the one hand, the fight is like, wow, this is quite clearly like a prop room that they threw together on a budget of $50 to film this. But the fight itself was way more visceral than anything else in the movie at that point. Like, they really looked like they were going out to hurt each other. It's like, ooh, this is actually kind of engaging. And then it makes the cardinal sin of killing off Sean Bean. It's like, oh, well, now we can stop watching the movie.
Well, that's the end of the movie anyway, practically.
Yeah.
For England, James? No, for me. Boom. Oh, boy. I'll miss you, Arecibo telescope. Destroyed by Sean Bean's body. Just kidding. That's not that's not what destroyed it. Old age is what killed the Arecibo Observatory, but
well, that and the chupacabra infestation.
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Pesky chupacabras.
Oh man. I also like some of these sillier James Bond movies from Roger Moore's run. Like they're so campy and silly. Like Man with the Golden Gun, Christopher Lee, Odd Job. It's great. It's fantastic. Moonraker with Jaws. It's so stupid. And yet, I kind of love it. I just, just go crazy. Just do silly stuff. It's just so silly. And then you have like Joe Don Baker shows up multiple times. He's in GoldenEye. He's also a villain in, I think it's like, was it Octopussy? It might have been Octopussy. I can't remember. That might have been Christopher Walken. Either way, Christopher Walken was fantastic too. So, but either way, it's we love James Bond. He's very endearing despite all his flaws. Oh, Christopher Walken was in View to a Kill. That's right. Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Have you seen the John Wick films?
Yes. Actually, just recently watched all three.
I feel like that's kind of the spiritual successor to James Bond.
Yeah, I see you there. I get it. Yeah.
Because Bond is kind of mired in a history of, how do I want to put this delicately on this show?
Womanizing?
Less than ideal treatment of the female cast, and he's tied to a very specific government, and there's a lot of colonial overtones and yada yada yada. John Wick is kind of free of all that. You've got the legendary dude who can kill all the other dudes, survives ludicrous amounts of damage and peril, and goes to all these exotic locales while looking super stylish and having the coolest cars and guns along the way.
Yeah.
It's like James Bond with all the problematic elements removed. And I'm not saying John Wick is brilliant, but it's kind of that fun brain candy kind of movie of look at the dude, kill the dudes in the stylish way.
Absolutely. It's entertaining, and it's in a good way. It's great stuff. I'm seeing the Jason Bourne movies get brought up, and it's like I never could really, I don't know. I never got into it. Never got into the Bourne series, but the first one was interesting, but it didn't really feel like a James Bond movie.
I can see the comparison, especially if you go just to Casino Royale with
right.
I almost called him Roger Craig Smith. Oh my God.
No, that's a completely different Craig.
That would be an interesting movie. But Daniel Craig, wow. I can see if you compare those two specifically, a little more visceral, a little more grounded,
sure,
lots of angst. But after that, Bourne just kind of became, here are the story beat tropes we're going to follow for the entire franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And Bond was like, okay, we had this really solid, grounded Bond film. Let's take it in all the directions that don't fit that. And meh.
Yeah. All right. And finally, we have a very last question of this episode. It's very festive. It's from PC the Unicorn. Or is it from Santa? I'm not sure. Ho, ho, ho. Happy holidays. In the spirit of said holidays, I have this question for you, Ian. If you could write a Christmas-themed Sonic story, how would you go about it? Would you rather do a full-on retelling of a well-known Christmas story with the IDW Sonic cast, akin to the Muppets Christmas Carol? Or would you rather do an original story that's influenced by the holiday? And for the former, which Christmas story would you want to retell? Gift of the Magi, Christmas Carol, It's a Wonderful Life, maybe The Santa Claus? I added that one, by the way. That one wasn't in there originally, but I added in the Santa Claus. Or maybe Die Hard. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I thought the question was originally asked me to read this in the Santa voice.
Oh, okay.
And I was gonna start off with ho ho ho, happy holidays. Wait, no, wrong voice.
Oh darn, I ruined your joke.
No. I was gonna steal your thunder, throw you off your groove. But...
Okay, well, I mean, I have no thunder. And I have no groove. Just ask the Emperor.
All right, so I'm kind of torn. Because on the one hand, I feel like if you're going to be so kitschy as to do a Christmas story with a licensed franchise, you might as well do like the Muppets Christmas Carol approach and just plant people into various roles.
But Sonic already did that. Granted, it was 25-ish years ago in the comics, but still. It was a very early time. It was like issue 3 or 4, whatever it was.
A Wonderful Life, the only way I could really rationalize that is like if Sonic thinks he's not, appreciated or worth anything, and that's just so out of character, I don't think that would work. And anyone else, you either have to bend it around to make them the focus, or you make it a lampoon where it's Eggman and it's a terrible life. And it's like, look how the world would be better without you. Well, in that case, I'm going to persevere. But I don't know, I feel like that ruins the spirit of it. But there was this one story that I've never been able to get to work that I don't know where it would go. Maybe I'll just break down and do a freaking fanfic at some point. I don't know. But the premise is that Cream comes to Chaotix with a missing persons case. She can't find her mother. And so the Chaotix go out and they start searching the city for Vanilla, and they inadvertently find an Eggman factory that's mass producing these toys that are the hot thing for Christmas, but they're all like sleeper agent toys. So at Christmas night, they'll all activate and like steal your money or take you hostage or something. And so they can't stop it. It's already been mass distributed. But they do manage to like send out a update code to everything so that it neutralizes all the toys. And so now they're just toys. And so the Chaotix save Christmas. And they come back and they find that Vanilla wasn't missing. She just went on a shopping trip and Cream missed the memo. She's perfectly fine. And because she was never missing, there was never really a missing person's case. So there's no real case to solve or be rewarded for. So they end up just going home empty-handed, except they managed to take one of the toys out of the factory. So Charmy gets a little something into stocking for Christmas. The end.
How cute. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this edition of the BumbleKast. We'll be back we'll be back on Wednesday, and then we'll be back next week. But first, we got to come back on Wednesday. So give a shout out to the people who help us with this show, Ian.
We almost have 100 patrons and Ko-fi sponsors today.
Yes. Wow. Man.
So, yeah, I'm not doing this in one voice. You guys have beaten me. Congratulations. And thank you, especially to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Robotnik Home, Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Torchbound, Mike B., Coupling Crew 128, Do As Diz Den, Diane W., Andrew D., Scruffy Matt, Dave M., Chris A., Salute Your Cat, Off, Sony, John M., J. Frost, Noni, Dawn B., Yami M., Lee H.K., Jib, Lisa M., Hero of Light 13, Chevelle, Ryan D., Piggybank, Blue Title Gamer, Tick Tick, Fine O'Neill, Ben Wolfsbane, Jonathan D., Invade Turbo Tunas, Rachel W., Fiona M., Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Dadler the Dalek, Daniel B., Fire Red XY, Sonic, PC the Unicorn, Red the Supernamic, Dove, Pen Dolce, Carlos, Joe S., Chad, Preston M., Jennifer H., Chico D., Alphamon or Yukin, Spark Z., Les, Chase L, John the Real Waluigi, and Tongue Twister, Sapphire Scarletta, Ava Wolf, Noah S, ONBD, Deltarune Jerry, Kojiro Highwind, Nemric, Professor Rye, Red Wolf, Cameron H, Kimiko, Turbo, Callum Q, Crooker, Radry, Zanderoni the Painter, Lewis J, Just a Mountain Soul, Alex the Border Collie, Phyllis Art, aka 4 Sonic Fan, In Zephyr, Maddie H, Techno Cinema, Scott Skunk, Solaire Stain, The Koi Boys, Scurvy Pirate Hog, Mini Hats, Cartographer 217, Joestar, I almost said Joester. That's not right. Joestar, SSB, Wolfie Girly, Wolf Girl.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you all for supporting us, and we will see you on Wednesday.
Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and take care.
Yes. All those things and more. See you later. Bye. Well, don't worry. I wasn't talking about you while you were gone.
That's fine. You can do what you want.
Okay. Well, I didn't talk about you.
Other people do it all the time.
I mean, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
I trust you to say at least nice things or fair things.
This is me not saying anything. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. Guys, I got news. I got news for you. Everything is a product designed to sell to you and make money, including Sonic, including Mario, everything you love. It's true. Yes, even the BumbleKast. You want to break it down to it? Yeah. Yeah, even the BumbleKast, in a sense, in a way. I mean, you guys are here paying money for it, aren't you?
What got invented for what?
I'm just saying that everything is a product to sell you.
Yeah,
even the things you love.
Pretty much.
Capitalism, buddy. Sonic the Hedgehog, a product.
Oh, absolutely. He is
actually wasn't even necessarily made with the intention of being like an artistic sort of thing. He was literally made to compete with Mario and Nintendo.
Yeah. He was designed to be the Mario killer.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of funny, given that Shadow was basically designed to be a 90s Sonic.
Pretty much. Get down to it. Essentially, yes. It really is.